Hello and welcome to another episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. This is Beriathan of the Citadel Guard of Gondor, and today we will be doing the Battle of the Black Gate. The time has come to face the forces of Sauron. So, quick recap, not much that we need to remember. We just went to scout the Slag-hills, and after scouting the Slag-hills, well, they are suspiciously quiet. And so, after we told Aragorn that news, he said, "There is no sense in delaying what must come. There must be a parley. I will go forth with a small group of my most trusted allies and call for Sauron's surrender. I will be honored if you would accompany, my friend. I do not expect the Dark Lord to give in to our demands, but still I must offer him the opportunity. Speak to me when your preparations are made and we will go together."
Are you ready to go?
Be well prepared, for we are on the very doorstep of evil and there may be no coming back from this.
We have come to the very doorstep of Mordor to challenge the Dark Lord Sauron. There can be no turning back now.
That is right. So we have here Mithrandir, Pippin, Primsin, Rahil, Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli, Eladan, Darvun, Elrohir, Eomer. Pippin wearing the Great Company pony, basically. It's what it is. They look like a great party. I mean, an impressive army here. So we'll see how the negotiations turn out. Starting to think that maybe I want Garlic for this battle, but still. What happens if I mount, I wonder? Will I get... Yeah! Which is nice to have. I mean, everyone is mounted. I don't see any reason why I shouldn't. Okay, Aragorn will not turn around. A shame for the picture, but anyway. All is still and silent, but I do not trust this emptiness. Do not be fooled by the quiet. There are eyes upon us, though we see them not. Let us ride nearer, and I will call for Sauron's surrender. We go now to trade with Mordor. I've asked all of you to accompany me, so every land that opposes Sauron will be represented. It is time. Steady, Master Peregrine. This is far enough. Unfurl the banner. Let them see with whom they are dealing. Hearken to me. Gondor has come to your border with just grievances and fair demands. Send for the Lord of the Black Land. Wrongfully has he made war upon Gondor and taken its lands. Let him come forth to answer for these crimes. Why isn't anything happening? Stay behind me, Master Halfling. As King of Gondor, I demand that Sauron come forth and alone for his evils. Someone comes. Is that the Dark Lord? No, Sauron will not leave his lands until his victory is assured. He sent a servant to us, a messenger only. Indeed, but we would be wise not to underestimate this messenger. He must be deep in the enemy's councils to be trusted this. I am the Mouth of Sauron, and I speak for he who resides in the Dark Tower. I see none who have authority to treat with me. Certainly not thou. I am not to be touched. I am protected as a herald. You have nothing to fear from us, messenger, until your errand is done. But if your master does not repent of his evil, you will be imperiled indeed. We are surprised to see thee with this raveled old greybeard. Dost thou not sense others to their doom, hatching thy plot from a safe distance? I have tokens I was bidden to show thee if thou shouldst dare to come. Oh no! Quiet, Peregrine. Beriathan, say to him and tell him to hold his tongue. Yeah, sure, we will. Just want to dismount here. Take a closer look at... well, the Mouth of Sauron, of course. But the items they have brought. Of course, we already know them. Frodo's mithril shirt. A cloak from Lórien, one sword of the Barrow-downs, and of course Pippin recognizes all of this, but we need to calm him. Beriathan, surely you must recognize those items. That's Frodo's mail shirt, the one he had from Bilbo. The grey cloak has an elven brooch pinned to it, like the one I had from Lórien, and that's Sam's sword, or I'm a Buffin. How did this terrible messenger come to have those items, Beriathan? What happened to Frodo and Sam? You silenced Pippin with a look, but he is crestfallen and his outburst cannot be taken back. The Mouth of Sauron smiles with cruelty and avarice. You have another of these imps with you? I do not know what use you find in them. Sending them as spies into Mordor is foolish, even for you. But this imp does me a service and I thank him for it. You cannot deny these tokens now, for he plainly has seen them before. I do not seek to deny them. I know all their history, which you do not. But why bring them here? Hood of the dwarves, cloak of the elves, blade of the fallen west. And spy from the Shire, home to rats. Aye, we know of it. He who bore these tokens might be dear to you and he might not. But if you would grieve to lose him, I advise you to think most carefully. Sauron bears no love for spies. His fate will depend on your choice. Good. I can see he was dear to you. Or maybe his errand was one you did not want to fail? It has. Now your little spy will suffer the worst torments the Dark Tower can devise. You will never see him again, or perhaps he will be released when he is broken. And he will come to you dust changed, and you will see what you have done. This is what will be unless you accept my lord's terms. Name these terms. Gondor's rabble will withdraw beyond the River Anduin. They will take oaths to never again assail Sauron the Great or his subjects. All lands east of the Anduin will be Sauron's in perpetuity. Lands west of the Anduin will be subordinate to his will. The men of those lands will arrange their own affairs but bear no weapons. They will help to rebuild Isengard, and Sauron's lieutenant will dwell there. He will rule over the remains of the West. Saruman? Nay, not Saruman. He speaks of himself. This is much to exchange for the delivery of one prisoner. Has Sauron's defeat on the field of battle so demoralized him that now he must haggle? Where is this prisoner? Deliver him to us and we will consider Sauron's terms. Insolence! You are in no position to make demands of Sauron. These are the terms. You will take them, or you will leave them. Beriathan, I would speak with you. Sure. Still your heart for the trials ahead, Beriathan. That Sauron has either Frodo or Samwise in captivity seems certain, but you must have noticed, as I have, that this messenger speaks only of one prisoner, not of two. And yet, those items are unmistakable and were in the possession of both our hobbits. I do not want this vile messenger to keep them. I will distract him, Beriathan, and I want you to retrieve these items in memory of our friends. Alright, so let me dismount before I do anything else. Now, Beriathan! We take these items in memory of our friend. As for your terms, consider them utterly rejected. We did not come here to waste words with Sauron or with his slaves. Your protection as a herald is near its end, and death is close at hand for you. Now, be gone! Well spoken, my friend. Now we will see what answers Sauron will make. Of course, there was only one answer for that. But you gotta wonder as well if had we accepted Sauron's terms, would have it worked at all? Because I think it more likely than that he will just send his army anyway. So of course we did the only thing we could do.
Quest for the ring has failed. We must not give in to despair.
Do not give up hope, Beriathan. We must stand as tall as we may, or Frodo and Sam will have gone to their doom for nothing. I will not allow this to be. The quest of the ring has failed, but we must not give in to despair, or we betray the men who fight alongside us. The day is dark. Let our blades and our hearts oppose the evils that would forever silence them and avenge our friends upon these foes.
This is where we will make our stand.
The Black Gate has opened, and the armies of Mordor stream forth from Sauron's lands, seeking to put an end to those of us who begs him still. This is where we will make our stand. Sauron's warriors have formed a ring around the Slag-hills, Beriathan. Fight them as they approach and keep them from advancing. Stand with our friends and allies, and aid them as you can. We must hold out for as long as we're able. So here we have it. Oh my god. This of course doesn't look good. I mean, the host of the West is such a small force in comparison to these other ones. And we gotta fight as best we can, of course. So defeat enemies we will. There are so many of them. Whoa, what was that? Okay, so now we're looking for Dagorlad. Oh, here we have Mithrandir. At some point we'll come to him, but for now, where is Dagorlad? Ah, there he is. I see him now. Do not give in to fear. We will overcome these evils. And do I talk to him just like that? Yeah. Is this to be the last battle, Beriathan? My heart tells me this is so. And though it be a sorrowful thing, I will be glad to see the end of wartime and to have rest. A papa will hit, and another. I find no joy in the battle, my friend, but I find that I am uncommonly good at it, truly. I will use that skill to defend the men at my side until my last breath is stolen away by some lucky stroke. Fight onward, Beriathan. Make our foes pay for the evils they have done, and hope still to do. More foes search from the line? Of course we're here to stop them. Oh, here comes another. Oh. I equipped my pocket item by mistake. No biggie. And we're about to finish our time with that. Anyway, so stand fast. Here we have Mithrandir fully recovered after all that he was to do in Isengard. And you remember in Pelargir how ill he was feeling? Well, he is much more better now, it seems.
Stand fast!
They seek to cow us with their numbers, but each of us is worth a dozen of their mindless trolls. My limbs are heavy and my breath is short, Beriathan, but I will do what I can to support Aragorn and my kinsmen. Fight on! Fight on! Mighty Olog stride forth, bellowing with rage. Well, but this one is short for an Olog. Baruch Kasad! Kasad Aimenu! I see that you have already slain your share of orcs, Beriathan. Legolas has also cut an impressive swath, but he tells me his supply of arrows will not last long. Perhaps you can help him with this? The battle has only just begun, but there is no need to worry about our respective tallies this time. There will be plenty of foes for all of us.
Gimli is right. My supply of arrows will soon run low.
I have enough arrows for the moment, but Gimli is right. My supply will run low soon if the tide of enemies does not slow. Many archers of Gondor and Rohan have already fallen to the arrows of Mordor. Some of their quivers remain full, or nearly so. Go to the archery lines and look for our fallen unfortunates. If you return to me with a number of their full quivers, I will be able to maintain my current pace and continue to support Gimli with my bow. I thank you for undertaking this helpful task, grim though it may seem. The archery lines. Okay, where are those? Ah, not that far really. And it seems we're not the only ones gathering these arrows.
Set the quivers at my feet, and I will use them as the need arises.
Thank you, my friend. Set the quivers at my feet and I will use them as the need arises. You place the quivers of arrows at Legolas's feet, and he nods with satisfaction, but his eyes never leave the distant line of battle. I heard Aragorn shouting his command from the top of the Slag-hill to the southwest, Beriathan. Climb the hill and see if you can aid him. To the southwest, so he has moved. I think. No, he was still where we left him. Our position here is fair, but things turn ill at the western hill. How so, Aragorn? We have held the line of battle for now, keeping our foes from ascending the eastern hill, but it seems that our foes have redoubled their efforts to take the western hill. We are hard-pressed and can spare no man, but someone must go to the western hill and keep it from being taken. Can you go to the aid of Ringbearer with haste enough, Beriathan? I know you can. Fight your way to the slope of the western hill and help the Prince of Dagorlad throw back the tide. There we go. Yeah, I shouldn't be walking through that water, I think. But with you here, my spirits are lifted. Do not worry about me, Beriathan. We are hard-pressed by our foes, but even so they are unable to match us. I have the high ground for now, and that gives me the advantage. The flow of the battle pushed Theomer of Rohan further down the slope, and I fear he will be cut off from the rest of his forces. Find him to the east and ensure he is safe. Here? Ah, yeah. Just here. Stand and fight, soldiers of Rohan.
Terrible flying creatures fall upon my soldiers and bear them aloft.
I welcome the concern of the Prince of the Lamroth, but it is unnecessary. My own battle is well in hand. But I have another worry. The terrible flying creatures that carry the robbed Nazgûl on their backs. They fall upon my soldiers and bear them aloft with their clutching claws. And then they drop them to the battlefield below. There is no protection from this. The safety of my men is my prime concern. For many soldiers of Rohan are unhorsed, and such is not their preferred means of doing battle. Over the din of battle, I thought I heard Rohirric voices crying out in alarm to the southwest. That is where you're needed, not here with me. Words of surprise from the southwest. Is this my time? Ref Ingbert has been injured and his foes press the attack? Not yet. While you distract his foes, Ingbert manages to escape. Here we have Beregond and Pippin. Okay.
Stay wary. Our foes have not depleted the stock of their sorceries.
The tide of enemies has swelled, and soon it will crash upon the shore of our shield wall. The tide will not draw back again until we are slain. I have taken upon myself to watch Aragorn the Halfling. He is a soldier of Gondor and now more a member of the guard than I, but it grieves my heart to think he might fall in this battle. I will protect him if I can, both for his sake and that of my son whose friendship he possesses. Stay wary, Beriathan. I wager our foes have not depleted the stock of their sorceries.
I am glad to see you are still king.
I am afraid I can't do very much among all these warriors, but I am to do the best I can for Frodo and poor Sam. I miss Merry, but at least he is back in Minas Tirith and won't need to see this fighting, not for today at least. I don't expect I can draw level with some of his deeds, not unless I were to smite that horrible messenger, but that is alright. Be careful, Beriathan. This beastly brute is out for blood. To the west, a soldier of Gondor cries for help. Someone help me.
Can you help me?
I have slain a number of orcs, but the last one staggered away with my sword still stuck in its gut, and now I have no weapon. Can you find me a sword? There must be a blade somewhere at the base of the hill abandoned or dropped by a coward or by a corpse. Without a weapon, I cannot do any good for Gondor, and I have no way to protect myself from the throng. Yeah, I will look for a weapon for you. I don't see it. Ah, fallen sword. Yeah, here. You pick up the sword and hope it will ease Thalandir's mind. Thalandir's mind, no. Thalandir has gone beyond need of a sword. He is slain. You hear Eomer's voice above the din coming from atop the hill. Pay no hit to my arm. I am fine. You sure? We are being overwhelmed, Beriathan. I sustained an injury from an orc's lucky swing, and now my arm hangs loosely. I cannot lift up my shield. My men have fallen back a short distance, but they cannot stand long against the tide. They will soon need to retreat once more. I ask that you fight across the eastern Slag-hill once again. If the battle is turning against us here, it must also be going ill with Aragorn. Look for his friends, the elf and the dwarf. I saw them from afar but could not tell how they fared. They will need you as the battle goes on. Orcs search into the space between the two Slag-hills, thirsty for blood. I mean, they can try. You have already seen how well that goes for them. We are still a mighty force. And these orcs have nothing on us. There we go. Ah, Legolas.
There is knife work to be done all around the hill.
All those quivers you brought me are spent, Beriathan. There is knife work to be done all around the hill and plenty for all. I have this fighting hand, but I am certain there will be enough foes for you to slay if you go out looking for them, or wait for them to seek you out. The orcs charge once again up the side of the hill. Well, the Gondorians seem to be holding their ground just fine. Steady yourselves. I'm glad the flow of the battle has brought you to me, Beriathan. I wanted to speak with you again. You studied the ranger's face and see little of the doubt that troubled him at the camp of the host. He seems curiously calm for one who stands amid such tumult. After battle was joined, I stood with Aragorn and felled orc after orc. Soon I lost count of the bodies, but there were ever more to replace them. With each swing of my blade, my sword lost its individuality. It was no longer my weapon only, but it was the weapon of every Dunedain that ever took up sword for his king. With every swing, it seemed to me I was conducting a great music, and the tides of battle moved through and around me in a great swelling chorus. It was a drawing tide, and it swept the foes of men beneath it, cleansing the land of their foul mark. I saw the great beauty of the land returning in full measure, the deep forest growing anew and the rivers flowing swift and clean. I saw twilight pulling in the hills, and the stars reflected in mountain lakes, crisp and cool. My eyes were open to this vision of a new age, and though I saw it only for the span of a breath, I knew in that moment that Gwyneth had been right. Such a kingdom would be worth some measure of sorrow. She will see it, though she fade into myth, and men question whether she ever existed at all. But still she will be there, among the falls and waters of Lake Ninuial, and she will remember. I am at peace, my friend. The evil of Sauron cannot last, even if every last one of us perishes before his gates. But let us hope we do not, Beriathan. A new age is coming. Yeah, I hope you're right. Aragorn calls to you, but you can barely hear him over the sound of the throng. Don't worry, Aragorn. What do you need?
How goes the fighting on the western hill?
I trust that the Eomer and Imrahil stand still against the forces of Mordor. You tell Aragorn that they are still defiant, but injuries have begun to mount among their soldiers. So it is with us, but we fight on. It will not be long now, but we will stand until the end.
We must be ready.
The enemy lines have drawn back slightly, but it is only in preparation for the final push. Soon they will march inwards once more, tightening the noose around our position. We must be ready. Tell me when you are prepared and we will stand together to rebut them.
Our foes make their final assault.
Already the lines begin to push forward once again. Our foes make their final assault.
And so we come to it at last. The battle surges all around us.
It does seem so, yeah. A very desperate position. Still surrounded by all sides, of course. 3, 6, 8 Nazgûl, of course, as well. My kinsmen and these others have cast back all of the enemy's advances to this point, Beriathan. We must not fail now.
We must rejoin the fight.
Let him come.
Nazgûl overhead! Dagorlad!
Where?
It took him this way! Find him!
Dagorlad. There, I see him. Remember? Dagorlad coughs weakly, but he smiles despite the pain. From above, I saw light. It cannot be quenched. The new age. Remember when we shout in a clamor rises from the west? Ah, Nazgûl. Beriathan, no! Well, glad to see you're okay at least, Nazgûl.
Have to do something about those flying beasts.
Or there will be no one left to carry on the fight. Follow me, Beriathan, we must find some archers. What happened to all the archers? Yeah, I think that must have been part of the enemy's strategy. Thread the needle, Beriathan, now is not the time. You should not have got in your way, wretches. Get ready, here comes a big one. Oh. Nazgûl of Amphalas tracks you down. Finish it, Beriathan. I am. Beriathan, do you leave? Not you too, Nazgûl. I cannot see you, friend. Everything is darkness. I know I do not have long. Fight on. Fight on. If there is a day to come after this, look to the people of Amphalas. Tell them, their lord. You hear a scream from above. That was Pippin's voice. You have found Aragorn, but Pippin does not stand with him. Oh yeah, you can see him here. What happened, Aragorn?
He saved my life.
I was stunned and fell beneath the press of battle, but even as the great troll reached out to end my life, Aragorn stabbed it with his blade. He slew the beast, but it fell upon him and I fear he's dead. God. Are you okay, Pippin? Pippin does not move.
There is no end to this onslaught.
As long as we remain divided, we are weak. We must move as a group if we are to stand long. We must fight back to King Elessar before it is too late.
Assault! Stand tall, men of Gondor and Rohan! Stand tall, men of the North! You have fought well and bravely, my friends, but our time is nearly at its end. It has been an honor to fight alongside you. We must keep fighting until we no longer can. No one is coming to save us, for who could? We are on our own.
Even now, at the end, I do not regret what we have done, or that for which we fought. Let us stand together for a little while longer. I am pleased to call you friend, Beriathan.
This may be Sauron's hour. We will make him earn it in blood.
The Battle of the Black Gate is nearly done, Beriathan. We must fight for as long as we can in memory of our friends and in defense of those endangered by Mordor. This may be Sauron's hour, but we will make him earn it with blood. Still surrounded, of course. Oh, here we can get nice view of the Black Gate, Field of Battle. I see something on the distant horizon, but I cannot yet make it out. Does a new threat seek to strike down from the rear? Go to Mithrandir atop the Slag-hill and see what he thinks of this new arrival, Beriathan, quickly! What now, Beriathan? You bring tidings from the Sons of Elrond? They did not wish to tell me themselves? The wizard raises a further rebuke for the elves, but it remains unsaid. His eye lights upon the distant horizon and wonder brightens his face. The eagles are coming! The eagles are coming! Why hear the Wind Lord and his noble subjects fly to the aid of the host of the West? Let us see if the Nazgûl enjoy this challenge should their superiority in the air, Beriathan. Speak to me and we will wade once more into battle.
Once more into battle, my friend.
Once more indeed.
Why here? His noble subjects have come to the aid of the host of the West.
Just a moment here. Really like these angles. Okay. Why here and the Eagles will keep the Nazgûl occupied, but the battle still rages upon the ground, Beriathan. Let us press the advantage given to us by our winged allies and set the orcs upon their heels.
The tide turns in our favor.
It's a shame. All of those who didn't survive until this point. Beriathan, to me! Okay. Do you sense that? Something is amiss, Beriathan, but I cannot discern what it might be. Some new artifice of the Dark Lord may be revealed to us. Stay near to me.
Flee from battle? What can this mean? Sauron has summoned back to Mordor. Why? Stand, men of the West! This is the hour! The Ringbearer has completed his quest! Why here to me?
Frodo has fulfilled the quest of the ring, and he may still live. We must act quickly, Beriathan, or he will never come alive from the Black Land. If Gwaihir and his brother will bear us into Mordor, we may yet come to Frodo in time. Gwaihir, Lord of Eagles, 2 times have you borne me, my friend, and this will be the last and the most needed. If your brother Landroval will bear Beriathan, we will have the best chance of finding Frodo before he is overcome. Fly now to Orodruin, fly now to Mount Doom.
Mordor shakes beneath Orodruin's wrath. Fly swiftly, my friend. If Frodo or Samwise still live, we have to find them quickly.
The mountain burns. I will circle to the far side, but someone must search the nearer slope, and with haste.
That is a task for my adventurer. We will circle Orodruin and come back for you. May one of us find our hobbits.
Find Frodo at the slopes of Lórien. Okay. Battle's over, it seems, but there's still much to be done here. I think it's this way. I mean, it seems like a pretty linear path. Can be a little misleading, but in truth, there's only one way you can go, and here we are. Look who we found here. You found Frodo and Sam. They are alive. Okay. Nah, that's right. Turn around. Yeah, much more better. Beriathan, is that really you? Sam looks at you with bleary eyes. His exhaustion is apparent and he seems to disbelieve that you are really standing here. We can't go any further. We got this far, but... Sam reaches into one of his pockets and withdraws a small item. He presses it into your hand. Where there's life, there's hope, he says.
Where there's life, there's hope.
You have obtained a file of Galadriel, the edge of the outcropping. There is a little time to spare. This one? Oh, the eagles. Ah, awesome.
The ring was destroyed. Gwaihir and his kin braved the great peril of the skies and carried our heroes from the wreck of the burning mountain. And on the Field of Cormallen, they were praised for their great deeds and the successful completion of the quest. The Lord of the Rings was no more, and Middle-earth was made safer by his defeat.
The sum of
My hopes has come to pass, beyond all belief.
the great darkness has been conquered. No longer will Sauron trouble Middle-earth as he did for thousands of years. The quest of the ring came in the end to the successful conclusion for which this old fool dared not hope. Yet hoped for still. What a wonder it is to see this day.
Our friends have been through much, but I know they will want to speak with you.
No, don't let me keep you, Beriathan. Our heroic friends have been through much, but I know they will want to speak with you now that the danger has passed. Frodo and Sam have rested from their journey, but it will take more than these few days to recover from the exertion of their ordeal. You will find them in a bower on the southeastern side of the field. Well, now that we're here in the fields of Cormallen, I do wanna grab some pictures. I mean, this area and the Battle of the Black Gate as well, those are areas that you can revisit. And it's not even that hard. But now that we're here, you know, it's the perfect time. I think we will be talking with all the NPCs around this area, so that should give us the chance to take the pictures. Garthabir. It has been my honor to sing of the triumph of Frodo Baggins. Merry and Pippin? Yeah. Sam beckoned for you to speak to him instead of Frodo. Yeah, sure. Give me just a moment.
I beg your pardon, but Mr. Frodo needs his rest.
So many folk have come calling on him, some of them even bending the knee. and those who bowed the lowest were kings and princes themselves. Now, my master deserves every bit of it, but some of these even bow to me, and I can't say I like that at all. Frodo carried the real burden, and he did all the hard work if you ask me. Can you believe that old Strider turned out to be a king as well? When I first met him, I said to myself, this Strider has a kingly air about him, doesn't he, Sam? But I didn't say anything of it to my master or to Merry or Pippin. There was enough going on in Bree that there wasn't time for it. So many high important folk paying attention to hobbits. There's no mistaking that these are queer times.
Sam has spent so long worrying about me that it became natural for him.
Please forgive Sam, Beriathan. He has spent so long worrying about me that I think it became natural for him, especially after our experience in Mordor. Frodo shivers, despite the warmth in the air. I know Sam does not want to talk about it, but I would never have made it to the fire without him. If you had the joy of knowing old Hamfast, you would know that Gamgees love to talk, but the Gaffer and his son would prefer most any topic to speaking about themselves. So it falls on me to tell you that I may have carried the burden, but it was the strength of my dear Sam that guided me through despair and across the dead lands, and at Mount Doom... Frodo's face is pale, and he stops speaking. He seems relieved when Pippin breaks the silence with a boisterous cheer.
3 cheers for Frodo Baggins, who destroyed the ring.
And save a cheer or two for Samwise Gamgee, who got to go with him and managed to miss out on a great deal of the fighting. Oh, I'm only teasing. I know that Sam saw some danger, although he doesn't want to talk about any of it. Both he and Frodo are awfully tight-lipped about their journey in Mordor. I don't blame them. Battles are nasty things. Merry and I certainly ended up seeing more than our share, and it was all very dirty and confusing. I wouldn't recommend it. Do you know that a troll fell on top of me? It's easy to laugh about now that it's done, but no one was laughing when we were in the thick of the fighting. I am glad we are still here, Beriathan. 3 cheers for Frodo and his friends.
Finally, we can catch up with Frodo and Sam, and they don't want to talk about it.
I am glad to have this time to catch up with Frodo and Sam. Pippin and I are knights of the city and of the mark respectively, and we have been kept busy with those duties. At last we can chat, and they do not want to talk about it, or at least not in the detail our curiosities demand. Well, I can respect that. After the Pelennor battle, I could barely stand to tell Pippin what befell poor Theoden. In time, perhaps it will become easier for them to talk about the journey. It was like that with Eowyn. By the time I left Minas Tirith to come here, she had emerged from Silent Sorrows and had taken to speaking with Stuart Faramir in the gardens. It seems to me that time and distance helps many shadows lessen. I wonder why Eowyn has not yet arrived. Eomer King called her hither, but she has not yet come to Cormallen. I think I remember now why Eowyn didn't come. She was expecting the call from someone else. Gollum, that evil one, bit the ring of doom from Frodo's hand. I don't know. I just realized maybe it's very likely, in my opinion, the devs were having some fun, because that last line, that's got to be a reference to Rumble On by Led Zeppelin, but Gollum, that evil one, it's got to be. It's the exact same words. This is the 3rd time I come here, but it's the first time I noticed that, and I think that's amazing. That's incredible. Very fun.
My uncle Theoden is avenged. Sauron is no more.
It cannot be questioned that soldiers of Rohan and of Gondor played their parts, but in the end the fatal blow was struck by 2 hobbits alone in the Black Land. It is an amazement to me. I have heard that the Nazgûl come to fiery ends, speeding back to Mordor at the Master's Skull when he learned of his true peril. With my mind's sight, I can see them caught in the blasts of the Flaming Mountain. 8 fireballs scorching the sky, plummeting earthward and shrieking their final desperate cries. I wish that those of my soldiers who were carried aloft by those creatures during the Battle of the Black Gate could have known the fate their murderers would shortly suffer. It gives me great satisfaction to picture it on their behalf. Ride, Erlingas, ride! You are avenged. Where's Imrahil now? Oh, okay, here.
The fall of Sauron worked a great madness in his servants.
And many of them despaired once he was gone. Did some spell hold them ensorcelled while he yet lived and death broke his hold upon them? I cannot say, but I did witness that many of the orcs cast themselves into pits or fell upon their weapons once he was gone. There were others among his servants that were made more ferocious by the fall of their master, and this fought long and with desperation. Some of them fled back to the ruins of the gate. I do not doubt that my king will send me against these others in time, but that is a thought for tomorrow. Today we celebrate the fall of Sauron. Yeah, a day of celebration indeed. There are still many things to come, but today we celebrate. We have earned it.
Yes!
That was quite a feast, and most well deserved. It is not every day that an evil such as Sauron is laid low. After all, it seems as if Elrond and Gandalf made the right choice back in Rivendell, doesn't it? Frodo Baggins may not be a dwarf, but he has proven to have the determination of my kind. All this habit seems to have it. Young Peregrine Took could use a portion less of it, if you ask me. He is fortunate I saw him lying beneath that troll before the Black Gate, and heaved the great beast of him. I might have sworn up and down that he was dead, and yet he lives and is up and about already. He has caused me so much trouble, and yet still I am fond of him for all the bother. There will be days of merriment aplenty, Beriathan, but sometime in the weeks ahead I must set my eyes to the north and return to the Lonely Mountain. My mind is full of ideas, and what dwarf wants that? I must speak to the king of Durin's folk and let these ideas out before they do me some harm.
Sauron is no more, and can no longer burden Middle-earth.
Some of my folk may come to live in this land for a time, and I delight in knowing that it will remain green and growing for years to come, untroubled by Sauron's evil. But I will not stay long here. The first days of Gondor's new year will be filled with happiness, and I share the joy of its people. But my heart has another longing. The sea calls to me, and I would follow. But I will not follow that longing just yet, Beriathan. Food and drink and celebration must come first. We have all seen enough of darkness. Let us enjoy some lighter fare and savor the taste. Where's Ringbearer? Okay, well. You have Aragorn, another pavilion, of course. He seems to have a liking for them.
Weigh your options carefully. This could be a costly choice.
Ringbearer looks at you grimly. I was speaking with some of the others and they agree that you have a decision to make. Weigh your options carefully, Beriathan, for this could be a costly choice. A rare smile illuminates Ringbearer's features. You need to choose the tavern at which we can all meet, now that the Great Company has accomplished its mission and we have fulfilled our roads. You agreed to buy me 3 mugs of ale, as I recall, so you will want to select an establishment with a barkeep who sets a reasonable price. I recommend that Forsaken Inn east of Bree. The fare is of low quality, but it was Kindred's favorite, and that is enough for me. We will not depart just yet. There is work still to be done for Aragorn to claim his throne, and many of us wish to help him set his kingdom in order. Some of us will remain here in the Southlands even when others return to their homes. I think I will travel with Mithrandir when he returns to Surikila. It is a long road, and he would welcome the company. Also, there is a lake on the way to Forohill, and I promised a friend I would see it for myself. Oh my god. A lake on the way to Forohill? Are you teasing me? No, come on. I don't remember. A lake on the way to Forohill. This one? No. Silly me. This one. Lake Vendim. Oh, jeez. Why is that so hard to understand? Oh my god, I feel so stupid right now. And of course that friend has to be Callanglad. And we of course need to talk about Callanglad's death because that was one of the highest points in the battle. Being taken away by a Nazgûl. And of course, the first time you play that, it grabs you by surprise entirely. And Callanglad's death hits you hard because, well, on one hand, you know, well, who he is, where he comes from. You know he made a promise to go back to Gwynedd. You know how much that means for him and his willingness to sacrifice all that for Aragorn. And on top of that, you have also that, let us call it monologue, that well, it's not a monologue, but you get my idea, that he told us about seeing the light, seeing the glimpses of a new kingdom, understanding it was worth the sacrifice, and right after he says that, he dies. So, well, of course the Dips have been playing with our emotions ever since the Grey Company was introduced, killing Rangers, and then killing Rohirrim and killing men of Gondor, and Callingladd and Nazgûl are just the last of that long list of casualties. But Callinglad's death in particular hits hard, for all these reasons. And now we have a new one, of course. So Radanir wants to go to Lake Evendim as a promise to Callingladd. Will he look for Gwynedd? And what will Gwynedd say now that Callingladd is dead? She was expecting that, kinda. But that doesn't mean it's not gonna be difficult for her.
There is a small matter about which I wish to speak with you.
Beriathan, I am glad you have returned to me, for there is a small matter about which I wish to speak with you.
Frodo's ordeal in Mordor has left its mark upon him.
Frodo's ordeal in Mordor was a costly one, and it has left its mark upon him. No, I do not speak only of the finger he lost to Gollum's biting teeth. I speak of a mark that none can see, but still persists, casting a pall upon his heart. He has retired to the bower that was prepared for him. I will see that Samwise has a task to undertake that will free Frodo from his watchful gaze. And perhaps we can learn what still troubles our victorious Ringbearer. Yeah, sure, let us go. Once again, this is a special episode, a supersized episode, not only because we were doing the entirety of the Battle of the Black Gate, but I also think it's worth doing the aftermath at the Fields of Cormallen as well. So, we're gonna finish all of this in today's episode. Forgot to tell you that, but now, you had discovered that already, I believe. Frodo smiles weakly at you as you approach.
My mind is still caught in a whirlwind of confusion.
Hello again, Beriathan. Gandalf came by and had a task for Sam. The two of them have gone off somewhere. If you're looking to speak with them, they are not here right now. My mind's still caught in a whirlwind of confusion. I cannot believe that the quest is over. I am not used to the idea that the ring is gone. In Mordor, I would shut my eyes and still see it, burning inside my mind, tearing me apart. But it has been destroyed. Pippin insists that I write everything down before I forget the details, but I do not want to remember them, Beriathan. I do not. If my friends knew the truth about what happened within Mount Doom. Frodo shakes his head and holds up his injured hand. It has been wrapped in a bandage and treated with care by Aragorn, but you remember the grisly side of it. I labor beneath the burden of the ring as Sam and I crawl through Mordor and up the slope of Mount Doom. Much of the journey is hazy to me even now, and dear Sam told our friends most of the tale, but he did not tell it all. I think he wanted to spare me the shame of it. That is the truth. Shame. Deserved shame. Sam said that Gollum tracked us to the mountain, and at the end the pitiful creature overpowered us and stole the ring before we could cast it into the fire. But that is not the truth. Not all of it. I will tell you the truth, Beriathan. I want to do what it is right. Sam and I climbed the slope of Mount Doom, and Gollum followed behind. New session play as Gollum it is. Let us go!
Gollum caught up to us on the slope of Mount Doom, and Sam stayed behind to deal with him while I entered the mountain, eager to be rid of the ring.
Find the hobbitses. Find the hobbitses we will, precious. Nasty little hobbitses.
Sam, dear Sam, could not bring himself to slay the wretched creature. He let him go.
Nobody can, it seems. Nobody can bring himself to slay Gollum. There's a good reason for it, of course.
And so it was that Gollum followed Sam into the mountain.
Oh yeah.
I am here, but now I choose not to do what I came to do. I will not destroy it. The ring is mine! Master, no! Frodo!
Now we have in here. Murder requires the breaking of the promise, which is here. Now we will be the master. The precious is ours. Dance, precious, dance.
When the ring went into the fire, the power of Sauron went with it. His works were unmade, and he was undone. Were it not for Gollum, the quest would have failed. After coming so far, after enduring so much, after the sacrifices and the suffering of so many friends, when at last I stood at the crack of doom, I could not do it. I chose not to destroy the ring. How can I bear the shame of it? I let them down. I let everyone down.
Alright, so there we go. Well, Frodo at least was finally able to tell the truth. So hopefully he's feeling a little better now that he has let that out. But of course, it's a very confronting truth that cannot be avoided. And he failed. But who could have succeeded at the crack of doom? Who could have had the strength to throw the ring into the fire? So there was a great measure of divine intervention, if you will, starting from the moment in which Bilbo refused to kill Gollum, then Frodo and Sam doing the same, and then Gollum dancing and slipping into the fire. Which I gotta tell you, when I first read that, seemed so anticlimactic and kinda dumb. But I like the way in which it was done by the devs with the cinematic, because with the movement and the momentum that you see Gollum carrying, it seems plausible that he would just slip and fall. And of course, there's some degree of divine intervention there as well. Like picture one of the Valar blowing gently and making Gollum lose his balance. Something like that, but I mean, I of course came to terms with the ending of Frodo's quest a long time ago after reading Return of the King a couple times and understanding what it was doing, why it was important for Frodo to fail, for Frodo not to do it, and for Gollum to basically destroy himself and destroy the ring in the process. But I think the LOTRO team did a great job adapting this moment to visual media, as it worked very well what they did.
You know the truth now.
You know the truth now, Beriathan. So many good people suffered, so many good people died, so that I could get to the mountain. And at the end, I could not bring myself to do what everyone depended upon me to do. How can I live with the shame of it? You tell Frodo that what little you learned of the ring during your own adventures has taught you that it was an artifact of great power and great evil, and that it could work its temptation upon even those of good hearts and strong will. Maybe you're right, Beriathan. Your words do not erase my shame, but even though the ring is gone, I can still remember how I felt in that moment, standing above the fire. I did not wish to destroy it. I would have rather died than allow it to be taken from me. I cannot imagine how Smeagol survived for so long after the ring came to Bilbo. Or perhaps I can. It was the desire for it that drove him, and that feeling is familiar to me, and painful. Pippin worries that I will forget the details of my journey if I do not write them down. But the details are etched upon my memory. I cannot believe that I would forget how I felt in that moment. But perhaps I should write it all down. Perhaps I should write it all. And it will serve as a reminder and as a warning. A reminder that good purpose can go ill, but that evil purpose might still serve good. And a warning not to judge either too readily.
Thank you for easing my mind and my heart.
Thank you for easing my mind and my heart, Beriathan. Gandalf has returned, and now I think I see the makings of a conspiracy. But thank you for the kind words, and I give my thanks to Gandalf as well. I am very fortunate to have such friends as you. I am ready to have a rest, and an end to adventuring. I shall be content just to see Bilbo again, and to return to the Shire. I will write down my part of the quest of the ring, all of it, and I will be thankful for the opportunity to live in peace. Ah, there you are!
I am glad to hear that Frodo has decided to write down his tale after all.
It has been my experience that sometimes a hobbit simply needs a bit of a push to get started on a thing, but once he has set his mind to do it, the results are often admirable. I trust you told Frodo that no one could willingly have destroyed the ring. I meant to return more quickly and tell him that, but Samwise grew suspicious that I was wasting his time and required more assurances, or he would hastily return to his master. Wasting his time? Me! Mithrandir chuckles mirthfully. I was, of course, but that is neither here nor there. All that matters in the end is that you have assuaged Frodo's concerns and helped him come to terms with his experience. He deserves that and more for the deed he has done on behalf of Middle-earth. But enough chattering. Aragorn has asked to speak with you, Beriathan. Speak with him we will. It had been my honor to sing of the triumph of Frodo Baggins. Yeah, do you have any other cool lyric references? I mean, there is a lot of Lord of the Rings inspired music around. And I think Frodo deserves the praise of the free peoples of Middle-earth. So it would be really fun if the devs were able to slip a couple more references here with our friend Garthavir. Or maybe if they find a way of doing that in some other place. That would also be fun. Now, of course, we saw these on one of those cinematics, but take a look at this. How great it looks. And the ascent and the three thrones with the emblems of Gondor, Dol Amroth, and Rohan and the banners. Oh my god. I feel almost kind of guilty for trying to snap a picture in front of it, but it's such a great look. I mean, such a great shot. Take a look at it.
We have come through the long night, to the dawn at last.
Many were the days I believed all my choices were going wrong. But despite those errors, we have seen the destruction of the ring and the downfall of Sauron. When Frodo completed his task, Mordor was shaken to its very foundations by the eruption of the Orodrin. The Black Gate and the Towers of the Teeth crumbled and fell, but who can say what lies behind them in the land that was Sauron's? There is a shroud over the plateau of Gorgoroth, and it marks our side. Aragorn smiles wryly. I have not yet been crowned king, but already I am thinking about Gondor's future. Can we not have one day of satisfied peace? Sauron is no more. There will be a new ordering of the calendar to mark the occasion. In the Kingdom of Gondor, the new year will now begin on March 25th, the day on which Sauron fell and hope was restored to Middle-earth. There are still many preparations to be made before I can ascend to the throne of Gondor, but today is a day of celebration. My friends and my kin have earned this day of victory. Enjoy this day, Beriathan, for you too were instrumental in its arrival.
Frodo's adventure has ended, but Middle-earth will still have need of heroes.
Frodo has earned his rest, Beriathan. His adventure has ended. And yet, Middle-earth still has need of heroes. Gondor will need you, as will others among the free people, dwarves, elves, and hobbits. Be ready for their call, my friend. A great evil of the world has departed, but there are others that will need heroes to face them. Do not face them alone. Some measure of the strength of Sauron was bound to his ring, but much of his strength was derived from his mastery over the weak, and the weak of will. I foresee that some of those freed from his dominance will seek to gain advantage from his fall. The shroud over Gorgoroth is a veil that must be pierced if Middle-earth is to live free from fear. Frodo will write a tale of his adventure, but the next adventure will be yours alone to write. My own time on these shores is drawing to a close, for my purpose is ended. You look at him with the dawning understanding that his charge was to combat Sauron. And now that the Dark Lord is defeated, the wizard must leave Middle-earth. Oh, do not look at me like that, foolish man. I am not leaving tomorrow. I will not depart until I know things are well in hand, and your kind has not yet proven that you are able to manage on your own. He stands there, spluttering for a moment. There is a twinkle in his eye when he speaks again, and he seems less like Mithrandir or any of his many other names, and most like he was when you first met him, Gandalf. I will say this to you, and it will be my last word on the subject. As for this business with the ring, I commend you on a job well done, my dear Beriathan. Very well done indeed. And we got a new quest. Okay, let us grab this one. You have been summoned by those who seek to enter Mordor. You should meet at the Black Gate as soon as you are able. Yeah. So, completed. The Great Wedding soon arrive. Oh my god, we have so many things to check in here. Of course, so this marks the end of Volume 4. We are now headed to Mordor and the Black Book of Mordor, but as you see, that questline will not begin here. It begins with Mithrandir at the Black Gate. What else have we here? We have completed, well, Book 9 with some rewards. More importantly, we have completed the Strength of Sauron and the Great Wedding will soon arrive. And we have a new emote to go with it. Let me grab some of this. Sauce, Strength of Sauron. So let me show you the emote before we check all the other things. So if you use the emote, you will get this. Oh my god, I love this effect. And I think it's kind of fun. Especially if you're able to disguise yourself as an NPC, stand still on an area and just pop up the emote. Maybe you can confuse a couple players. I've always thought you could do that with the Grey Company outfit during your travels in Dunland and the like. And I mean, I have never tried that, but it sounds like a lot of fun. I don't know if somebody else has done it. So if you have, let me know. What other uses do you have for this emote? I'm very curious to know. Anyway, we have also these completed deeds. The Great Wedding will soon arrive. You needed to complete Book 4 to unlock that one. And we will be doing that. We will be doing the Great Wedding at some point. Not yet though, as I want to fit that during the timeline, the chronology of events. So that will come later. And here we have the other deed. Strength of Sauron. We have completed those 9 books. We have 5 LOTRO points. And the emote that we already saw. We also got mail. An invitation from Elazar? Oh. Is this for the Great Wedding? Yeah. Alright. Yeah, I think we're not gonna read this letter right now because we're technically not there yet. But maybe if we're not fast enough, that email will disappear. I think we have just enough time to be able to do that. But just in case we don't, we have the screenshots to serve as a reminder when we get to that point in the story, because now we're headed to Mordor and there is still some time before the Great Wedding comes. As you see here, this marks the end of Volume 4 and the end of the War of the Ring as well. So I would like to give you some of my closing thoughts on it. On Volume 4 specifically, which began, you might recall, at the Paths of the Dead, crossing into Western Gondor, and then the Dauntless Day in Central Gondor, Eastern Gondor, South Ithilien, Old Anorion, Far Anorion, the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, then North Ithilien, the Wastes, and finally here, the Battle of the Black Gate. I also told you when we were doing the Battle of the Pelennor Fields that for me that's the true climax of the story, because both in the books, the movies, the games, the Battle of the Pelennor Fields is always the big battle, the big confrontation, even though the Battle of the Black Gate is the true final battle, but there is a bigger sense of closure, of endingness in the Pelennor Fields, as you have the death of Theoden, the defeat of the Witch King, Aragorn and the Black Sails, Eomer, Denethor, Faramir. I mean, it all comes together there, so it makes sense that that battle will be the climax of the full story, which, once again, is my favorite moment in the entire Lord of the Rings. So, of course, Book 4, Volume 4 has that going for it, the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, and just for that alone, it's an amazing volume. Every time I replay the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, I think I enjoy it more and more. As I told you that time, I was a little disappointed the first time I played it. I think I was expecting something a little bit bigger, more epic. I mean, I don't think there was a way for the game to fulfill the expectations I had for it. They were unreasonable, but as I have come to accept and appreciate what the game delivers, what the game does with the Battle of the Black Gate, I think they did a great job. The Battle of the Pelennor Fields, sorry. I think they did a great job with there. Once again, that's something that you should really experience in one full sitting, because you get everything on it. If you do it at different sessions, you lose the impact of some moments and the continuity of it all. So that was my advice for the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, and that's why I started doing all those other special episodes. I've been planning the Battle of the Pelennor Fields since the channel started, basically, and when I got the idea of how I was going to do it, I decided, well, I'm gonna do that as well for the Battle of Helm's Deep, Pelargir, the Defense of Minas Tirith, the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, and the Battle of the Black Gate, which are the great battles of the War of the Ring on this part of Middle-earth. Once again, the Battle of the Black Gate also deserves to be experienced in one setting, and originally that was not the case, because you saw that Book 8 of Volume 4 ended halfway through the battle, and then Book 9 resumed from that point. But you gotta keep in mind that Book 8 was released on March 2017, and Book 9 was released on July. So there were 4 months in between the two updates for you to see the ending of the Battle of the Black Gate. Of course, we already knew what that ending was gonna be, but we also needed to see how the devs were going to do it. And fun little fact, I don't know how many people did that. I did. as soon as I got to the Battle of the Black Gate and Aragorn said, okay, we're gonna go and talk to the Mouth of Sauron and go to the battle and everything else, I stopped playing at that point until Book 9 was released so that I could play the entire battle in one sitting. I already knew that was the case, so I already knew I needed to wait, and wait I did, until I was finally able to experience the Battle of the Black Gate, which is, once again, a shorter one, but still very fulfilling. It had many great moments. The soundtrack was, once again, amazing. The action was very fulfilling too. It had high stakes, and the devs were once again able to provide us with some emotional impact on it. Seeing Calanglad's death, Galasgiel, and many others who were on the brink of death, like Ringbearer. So the Battle of the Black Gate has still a lot going for it, and it was a great ending to Volume 4, and not only to Volume 4, but in a way an ending to all the 4 volumes that have come before it. But something that's also very interesting about LOTRO is how, even though all these are technically separate stories, Volume 1 is its thing, Volume 2 is its thing, Volume 3 and Volume 4 are more closely packed together, but they still have a clear separation between them. And then we have the Black Book of Mordor, and then we have the Legacy of Durin and the Trial of Dwarves, and then God knows what will come afterwards. But even though they feel like separate stories, at the same time they are still telling one big story. For example, on Volume 4, meeting Gothmog, which was Mordorith from Volume 1, and we still need to have a final confrontation with him, and that will come during the Black Book of Mordor. So in a way, the story has not yet ended, which is something that a lot of people thought was going to happen with the release of the Mordor expansion. I mean, the ring is destroyed. What else could there be in the game? There's no point in it. But the devs have shown in all these years since the release of that expansion that there is still a lot of stories to tell. And as Gandalf and Aragorn said, the fact that Sauron is defeated doesn't mean that everything will go magically back to place. A new day will dawn, and then war will be over, and the evils of Mordor will be cleansed and everything. No, there's still a lot of work to be done, and we will be doing that work. But going back to the start of this kind of rambling, what do I think of Volume 4? On its entirety, it's complicated. Volume 4 is the only volume that was not part of an expansion. And for this I am counting the base game of Shadows of Angmar as sort of an expansion. It was basically the same thing. But Volume 2 was Moria and Mirkwood. Volume 3 was from Isengard to Helm's Deep. And Volume 4 was just a lot of seasonal updates that brought Gondor to life. And the game went through some difficult times during most of those moments. And you could see some of that. The fact that they stopped releasing expansions, for one, and some assets and design choices that didn't sit well with the community, that haven't aged too well in my opinion either. That shows the game was struggling a little bit, of course, and it was unfortunate that those struggles happened to occur by the time the War of the Ring was reaching its end. But I think for all its issues, the game was also able to find its footing when it needed to, and be able to tell the story they wanted to tell. And I think that happened at the end of Osgiliath, and by the time you go to Minas Tirith, I mean, you can criticize Minas Tirith all you want because of the lag, and I will grant you that, but the way in which the story starts ramping up after you find Gothmog and discovered what his plan is, and it was a great journey. I mean, all these 4 volumes were a great journey, but we are concerned today with Volume 4, that also brought us many iconic locations, some of which were not in the movies and were only mentioned in the books, like the Lamroth, like Dagorlad, North Ithilien, which was explored in greater detail here, the Druadan Forest. So I think, yeah, they did everything they possibly could to do justice to the moment in the story in which we were, and it deserved it. It totally deserved it, and they were still able to provide us with many amazing stories. And I, for one, am glad the game has continued after the destruction of the ring, and that there seem to be so many things left to be done. Once again, we still need to go to Mordor and to Minas Morgul, and to the north, to the Lonely Mountain, and to the Vales of Anduin. We have the Great Wedding, and then we have Gundabad further down the road, and we're not even close to the scouting of the Shire even, and that's something the players have been wanting to see since day one, and we still don't have any idea when that's coming. So this is to show the game still has a lot of fuel, still has a lot of things to give. So don't count it out yet. I know at times we as players, and I said this during my wrapping thoughts on Volume 1, we are of course not 100% in agreement with what Standing Stone Games does as a developer and as a company, and you may have a lot of pet peeves with the game, with the design, with the monetization, with whatever you want. But you cannot also deny that the game tells so many stories, great stories, original stories, and at the same time being such a faithful and extensive adaptation of Middle-earth that it really does bring you something that no other game ever could. Be an RPG, an action game, and an MMO. I have not seen any other game that is able to do what LOTRO does. When Amazon announced they were working on a Lord of the Rings MMO, I was, of course, kind of worried, like a lot of people. What's this gonna mean for LOTRO? Is it gonna disappear? It's gonna be a more modern game. What will the impact be? Then they said, well, it was gonna be a second age game, so I thought, well, they will coexist, and it will be fun to see the second age and Numenor and everything. And then Amazon canceled the game, and we still have LOTRO running strong and providing us the best Middle-earth there is. And every time I hear someone say, well, I still wish there was another Lord of the Rings MMO, a modern version of it, with these kind of features, with these kind of differences. I get where you're coming from, and I get why you might want that, but I cannot see any other game doing what LOTRO does. So I do hope the game still has many years left in it. And even if we by any chance get any other Lord of the Rings MMO in the future, I hope, and I'm almost positively certain, I'm really crossing my fingers, LOTRO will be able to coexist with any other Lord of the Rings MMO. Precisely because they bring to the table something that nobody else does. I mean, take a look at all the guys behind this, the world builders, the storytellers, the designers, the deep knowledge that 15 years of working with Tolkien's materials has given all of them, and how they are able to do whatever they want, basically. I mean, you will see some of this, and you have already seen some of this as we advance through the story, and how they weave different characters, different storylines, different settings in a way that seems natural, that seems planned from the very beginning, but we didn't see it coming until it was concluded. No other game can do this with the level of expertise that these guys have. Of course, they are a small studio and they struggle with many other things. And I think that's also part of the reason why a lot of people wish to see another Lord of the Rings MMO. with a bigger studio, a bigger budget, and more smooth systems and many other things. But there is no way. I cannot see LOTRO being equal. There might be great games in the future ahead of us. I have no way of knowing. We might have amazing Middle-earth adaptations, just as good as this one, even better, but I still think there's something LOTRO does that no other game could ever hope to do, and this is the reason why it's still running strong after 15 years. And the Mordor expansion was the beginning of a new era of LOTRO, an era in which they still, of course, have the source material to adhere to, but they had so much more freedom to do whatever they wanted. And the fact that they were doing whatever they wanted and still staying true to the source material and not coming up with ideas that seem so far-fetched that they were implausible, the fact that they still remain as true to the lore as ever is a testament of how passionate is the team about what they're doing, and how passionate are we as players witnessing this as it happens. So once again, I take off my hat to the LOTRO team, and I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for everything you have given me, because living in Middle-earth like this game allows, has been a dream come true since day one, and it always has been, and it will continue to be for many more years, I hope. So there you have it. That is the end of Volume 4, and a new road opens before us. Join me next time as we get ready to enter the Black Land of Mordor. For the time being, this has been all on today's episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I know I did. I hope to see you on the next one. Until then, my friends, stay safe, take care, good luck to you all, and I will see you later.